couldn't have been anybody else. Tom Brady's the greatest winner in NFL history. He's the greatest football player in NFL history. I think he really started to solidify that in the middle of the teens there once he got that 4th Super Bowl ring and then started to pad those stats. But once he got up to 7, I mean, there was probably no debate before that, but winning 7 Super Bowls in 2 decades is unparalleled, and I don't think it'll ever be matched. It's his drive. I mean, he had this maniacal drive to be the greatest winner in football history, and he achieved that. And they had a 10-year title drought that was driving him and everybody else in New England absolutely crazy. And they almost lost it. I mean, 2014, they had to come back. They were the first team to come back from a 10-point deficit to win a Super Bowl. That got him the 4th ring, and that tied him with Joe Montana. And you want to back it up a couple of years. Brady had been chasing Montana for a long time, and that was his childhood idol, but it was more than just Montana for Tom Brady. There was a workout that he had one off season with Julian Edelman, and Edelman is at one of Brady's training facilities. He's got a few scattered across the country. That's what happens when you're rich. And he's got this scoreboard, and it's the countdown clock to the next Super Bowl. And Julian Edelman's like, oh man, that's real cool. Like, you're chasing after Montana. And this is when Brady only had 3 rings. And Brady says to him, I'm not chasing Joe Montana. I'm chasing Michael Jordan. And that just shows, he's got 3 rings. They hadn't won one in almost a decade. And he's already thinking about doubling that total. And he went out and he did it. I mean, he was a great baseball prospect. He was a great football prospect. I mean, he's been great at what he's been trying to achieve for basically his entire life. But you go back to Michigan, when he had to split time with Drew Henson, and Brady was clear-cut the best quarterback on that Michigan roster in those late 90s teams. And they forced him to come out quarter by quarter, sometimes series by series, just because they had a bigger named recruit behind him. And that drove Brady crazy. There was a point when he was threatening to transfer. He was going to leave Michigan. And Lloyd Carr asked him to just take one more day. Think about it. Please don't transfer. And Brady came back the next day. He said, not only am I going to stay, I'm going to prove to you that I'm the best quarterback that you have. You want to spin it forward a few more years. Robert Kraft looks at him after the draft, 199th pick. Nobody really knows him. He's a totally obscure person in the grand scheme of the Boston sports landscape. And Brady tells him, I'm the best decision this organization's ever going to make. No reason for him or anybody to believe that to be true back in 2000. Sure enough, it was, and he proved himself right. Tom Brady's legacy was unimpeachable by the time he won his 6th Super Bowl. I mean, he could have retired. He had 3 Hall of Fame careers. I mean, if you really want to cut it down, from 01 to 04, that's a Hall of Fame career. From 05 to 13 is a Hall of Fame career. From 14 until 18 is a Hall of Fame career. So this is like a 3-time Hall of Fame quarterback, if you want to put it that way. But winning in Tampa away from Bill Belichick and away from the Patriots model that was so successful for so long, it was incredible for a number of different reasons. This was a franchise, a Tampa Bay franchise, that was basically a perennial loser for 2 decades. And he immediately brought them to a championship. And this was a roster that didn't really contend all that much back in 2019. Tom Brady shows up, and overnight, everybody starts to believe. He brings everybody's play up around him, and they won the Super Bowl as a result. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw Tom Brady do that with his rosters in New England, and it transferred.